The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Strong minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, weak minds discuss people. By all means marry. If you get a good wife, you'll become happy. If you get a bad one, you'll become a philosopher. He who is not contented with what he has, would not be contented with what he would like to have. I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. If you don't get what you want, you suffer. If you get what you don't want, you suffer. Even when you get exactly what you want, you still suffer, because you can't hold on to it forever. Be slow to fall into friendship, but when you are in, continue firm and constant. Your mind is your predicament. It wants to be free of change, free of pain, free of the obligations of life and death. But change is law, and no amount of pretending will alter that reality. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. Sometimes you put walls up not to keep people out, but to see who cares enough to break them down. There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance. No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Employ your time in improving yourself by other men's writings, so that you shall come easily, by what others have labored hard for. The hour of departure has arrived, and we go our separate ways, I to die, and you to live. Which of these two is better only God knows. Every action has its pleasures and its price. I examine the poets, and I look on them as people, whose talent overawes both themselves and others, people who present themselves as wise men and are taken as such, when they are nothing of the sort. Prefer knowledge to wealth, for the one is transitory, the other perpetual. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is, when men are afraid of the light. The greatest way to live with honor in this world is, to be what we pretend to be. True wisdom comes to each of us when we realize how little we understand about life, ourselves, and the world around us. The deepest desires often come the deadliest hate. Be nicer than necessary to everyone you meet. Everyone is fighting some kind of battle. If you want to be a good saddler, saddle the worst horse, for if you can tame one, you can tame all. The beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. One should never do wrong in return, nor mistreat any man, no matter how one has been mistreated by him. The really important thing is not to live, but to live well. And to live well meant, along with more enjoyable things in life, to live according to your principles. The easiest and noblest way is not to be crushing others, but to be improving yourselves. He is richest who is content with the least, for content is the wealth of nature. The greatest blessing granted to mankind, come by way of madness, which is a divine gift. Be of good cheer about death, and know this of a truth, that no evil can happen to a good man either in life or after death. Think not those faithful who praise all thy words and actions, but those who kindly reprove thy faults. All men's souls are immortal, but the souls of the righteous are immortal and divine. The highest realms of thought are impossible to reach, without first attaining an understanding of compassion. The mind is everything, what you think you become. I know you won't believe me, but the highest form of human excellence is to question oneself and others. It is better to change an opinion, than to persist in a wrong one. When you want wisdom and insight, as badly as you want to breathe, it is then you shall have it. The only thing I know is that, I know nothing, and I am no quite sure that I know that. Give me beauty in the inward soul, may the outward and the inward man be at one. There is no greater evil one can suffer, than to hate reasonable discourse. Intelligent individuals learn from everything and everyone, average people, from their experiences. The stupid already have all the answers. To express oneself badly is not only fault as far as the language goes, but does some harm to the soul. He is not only idle who does nothing, but he is idle who might be better employed. Wealth does not bring about excellence, but excellence makes wealth and everything else good for men, both individually and collectively. As for me, all I know is that I know nothing, for when I don't know what justice is, I'll hardly know whether it is a kind of virtue or not, or whether a person who has it is happy or unhappy. Remember that there is nothing stable in human affairs, therefore avoid undue elation in prosperity, or undue depression in adversity. The true champion of justice, if he intends to survive even for a short time, must necessarily confine himself to private life, and leave politics alone. I do believe that there are gods, and in a far higher sense than that in which any of my accusers believe in them. Remember, no human condition is ever permanent. Then you will not be overjoyed in good fortune, nor too sorrowful in misfortune. No one knows whether death may not be the greatest of all blessings for a man, yet men fear it as if they knew it was the greatest of evils. Wealth does not bring goodness, but goodness brings wealth and every other blessing, both to the individual and to the state. The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. It is not difficult to avoid death, gentlemen of the jury, it is much more difficult to avoid wickedness, for it runs faster than death. Employ your time in improving yourself by other men's writings, so that you shall gain easily what others have labored hard for. Worthless people live only to eat and drink, people of worth eat and drink only to live. A man who really fights for justice, must lead a private, not a public, life if he is to survive for even a short time. The answer I gave myself, and the oracle was that, it was to my advantage to be as I am. Each individual can only do one thing well. He can't do lots of things. If he tries, he will be jack of all trades, and master of none. The way to gain a good reputation, is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. A life without criticism and status is not a worth living. The really important thing is not to live, but to live well, and to live well means the same thing, as to live honorably or rightly. Once a man knows good from evil, nothing on earth can compel him to act against that knowledge. No man is capable of causing great evil, without thinking he's doing the right thing. Bad people live that they may eat and drink, whereas good people eat and drink that they may live. Doing good is a matter of looking after the part of yourself which matters most, namely your soul. Virtue is not given by money, but that from virtue comes money and every other good of man, public as well as private. I would rather die having spoken after my manner, than speak in your manner and live. Anyone who's really fighting for justice, must live as a private citizen, and not as a public figure, if he's going to survive even a short time.